Today we're going to go into the parables of the mustard seed and the parable of the yeast. And these parables are in Matthew 13, verse 31 through 33. So let's read it together. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants, and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches. Okay, let's move to the next one, 33. He told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough. Very mysterious stuff, very mysterious. You know, if we don't understand the password, these are very disconnected. You're talking about mustard seed growing into a tree, and then the next parable is talking about yeast in bread, dough. So really hard to understand, very hard to understand. And really, these parables have really remained a mystery for so many thousands of years. But when you understand the password, see, the Lord II reveals the secrets of heaven, and even the secrets to liberate Jesus' heart. And when you understand that password of absolute good sex, then you look at these parables, you can start understanding. The mustard seed, remember, the great tree comes from one seed, right? The family tree of human lineage comes from one seed, one ancestor. That whole tree comes from one ancestor. Originally, Adam and Eve were to be the original ancestors of true love, life, and lineage, not false love, life, lineage. They're meant to inherit the full creativity of God. And that's the highest expression of that creativity is creating God's highest creation, which is human beings, right? So human beings have the ability to create the highest creation, right? And that is such an immense blessing, the highest creative act. How that's done is by what? What Father always talked about. From the sexual organ is where it begins. And so thus, the sexual organs are of ultimate importance and ultimate value. That is the cause, that is the root of all lineage, all descendants. We all come, I'm going to say it out loud, we all come from Adam and Eve's penis and vagina, right? That's what is true. It's true, right? That's what it is. That's what it is. As Adam and Eve would accomplish the first and second blessings, then dominion over creation, right? The birds could perch in that tree. The birds could perch in that tree. Because as man is mature, he can learn to give and receive with creation in a responsible way, as the owner of creation, as the steward of creation, not just oppressor of creation, right? And we even see in Paul in Romans 8:22, where Paul is talking about how creation is groaning. It's sad. Creation is very sad. It's groaning. It's in pain. Because even, as Paul says, groaning as in the pains of childbirth, so painful. Creation is under the oppression of fallen man. So here in this scripture, we see, of course, the opposite of that, where creation can celebrate together in the tree that comes from the original Adam. And then when we look at the parable of the yeast, now this is very confusing. This is a hard one. This is a hard one to crack, the yeast one. But if you look at the yeast, yeast makes bread rise, right? Yeast makes bread rise. The male seed makes the female stomach rise in pregnancy. The womb rises. Eve took Satan's seed or Satan's yeast, spread it through the dough, which then gives birth to sinful humanity. You see? And remember, Jesus says very clearly that the body is the flesh. He even refers to his body. Take of this bread, for it will be my body. Right? So the bread here that the woman is mixing through the dough, which is bread, also symbol in the Bible for body or flesh, humanity. Eve could have obeyed God, got her his blessing, received the blessing from God, and then spread true love, life, lineage. God's seed, God's yeast, then through the dough would be kneaded through the dough, and the bread would rise as the children of God.